Thanks for coming back to Info Plus. We're going on a journey through time today to look at the top 5 shark attacks in history that killed the most people. Even though shark experiences rarely end in tragedy, there have been times in history when the line between humans and these old predators was blurred, leading to some very scary events. Now, let's not keep you waiting any longer. It's time to dive right into these amazing and terrifying stories from history. The Jersey Shore shark attacks of 1916 are number 5. At number 5, we go back in time to 1916, when the Jersey Shore was a famous place to go to the beach. The peaceful summer atmosphere is shattered over the course of 12-day inducing frights when the shark, which is usually a shy animal that beachgoers rarely see, turns into a hidden threat. From July 1 to July 12, a series of attacks along the coast caused fear and panic among residents and tourists of the Jersey Shore. The first attack occurs at Beach Haven, claiming the life of a young man named Charles Epting Van Sant who was swimming. A few days later, the vacation town of Spring Lake is the scene of the second attack, which sadly ends the life of Charles Bruder, a bellhop at a nearby hotel. Bruder was just having his day off, but the terror doesn't end there. The predator moves into Matawan Creek and kills 2 more people in one day, Lester Stillwell and Stanley Fisher, who tried to save young Lester but died trying to save him. Another boy, Joseph Dunn, was also attacked, but he amazingly lived, putting an end to this terrifying series of attacks. The Jersey Shore shark attacks of 1916 were so important that they were the main influence for Peter Benchley's famous book and the famous movie that came after it, Jaws. They set a tone of fear and interest for sharks that is still felt today. The accident on the U.S. Indianapolis in 1945, which was number 4. In our number 4 spot, we have a scary event that happened during World War II. It's July 1945 and the U.S. Indianapolis, a cruiser in the U.S. Navy, has just finished a secret operation that was very important, bringing the parts of the atomic bomb that were going to be dropped on Hiroshima. The team didn't know what was going on, but they were happy that their job was done and were looking forward to a good night's sleep. But a horrible end was just around the corner. When 2 torpedoes from a waiting Japanese submarine, the I-58, hit their vessel at midnight on July 30, their calm was shattered. Within 12 minutes, the ship sank, claiming the lives of approximately 300 crew members. The other 880 men were left on their own in the harsh open sea. As the days went on, they struggled with being thirsty, tired, and sad. Yet a dangerous threat that couldn't be seen was sneakily coming up from the depths below. In a scary turn, the blood and commotion from the wreckage had drawn sharks, possibly the aggressive oceanic whitetip. The survivors suffered the scorching sun, a lack of food and water, and a series of terrifying shark attacks over the course of the following 4 agonizing days. This terrible event represents the most important loss of life at sea from a single shark in U.S. Navy history, though the exact number of men killed by the sharks is unknown. The sinking of the Nova Scotia in 1942 is number 3. For our third spot, we went back to 1942, when there was a war going on and our focus was on the Nova Scotia, a British steamship that was making a journey off the coast of South Africa. Nearly 1,000 people, including citizens, soldiers, and Italian prisoners of war, were crammed into the vessel. They didn't know that a threat was waiting for them under the calm water, an enemy they couldn't see. The Nova Scotia's journey was cut short when the German submarine U-177 fired a torpedo that killed everyone on board. The torpedo hit its target as the steamboat was engulfed in flames and began to sink. Its passengers were in a scary position when they were thrown into the big cold ocean. Only 192 of the nearly 1,000 people on board made it through this terrible event, but the survivors still had a long way to go. The chaos and killing brought sharks to the scene, where they tried to cling to anything they could find in the wreckage. The survivors were in a dangerous fight with nature's perfect predator, and many of them were killed by the sharks that were circling around them, leading to one of the biggest shark attacks in recorded history. The sinking of the RNS Laconia in 1942 is number 2. At the second spot on our list, we look at another terrible thing that happened during World War II. This time, the RNS Laconia, a British military ship that is leaving the coast of West Africa, will be our focus. Unaware of the danger that lay beneath the surface, the Laconia, which was carrying a variety of passengers, including citizens, troops, and Italian prisoners of war, was traveling across the Atlantic Ocean. When a German U-boat thought the troop ship, the Laconia, was an enemy vessel, it fired bombs at it, which hit and sank the ship. The passengers and crew were fighting for survival in the seas that were infested with sharks amid the chaos and damage. While many people died in the sinking itself, others were able to cling to life only to face another terror: sharks drawn to the wreckage by the noise and blood. The survivors were surrounded by sharks, which made an already horrible situation into a frantic fight for survival against nature's top predator. Before help came, an unknown number of people were killed by shark attacks. The sinking of the SS Cap Arcona in 1945 is number 1. The sad event from the last days of World War II takes up the number 1 spot on our list. Our main focus is on the SS Cap Arcona, a German luxury ocean ship that, in a sad turn of events, was used to send people to concentration camps during the war. The ship was sailing in the Baltic Sea, just off the coast of Germany. It was carrying almost 5,000 prisoners. On board, the passengers, who had already been through the unimaginable horrors of concentration camps, were looking for an end to their suffering. They had no idea that they were sailing right into one of the most deadly shark attacks in history. On May 3, 1945, the British Royal Air Force bombed the ship because they thought it was carrying SS members who were trying to get away. The Cap Arcona was quickly destroyed by the attack, sinking after being engulfed in flames. The passengers were thrown into the cold water and had to fight for their lives in the middle of chaos and destruction. But sharks, who were drawn to the chaos and killing, were waiting for them in the water, which was even scarier. As the survivors fought to stay afloat in the wreckage, sharks began to circle the scene. They were attacked by these strong, dangerous animals. Although the precise number of shark victims is unknown, their appearance added to the horror of what was already a terrible event. As we came to the end of this journey through history, we were told that even though these events were very sad, there were also very unusual encounters with sharks. Remember that sharks are not dumb killers. They are an important part of the ecosystems of our oceans. Most of the time, they don't fight with humans, and we are a much bigger threat to their survival than they are to ours. It's important to remember these events, not because they should make us fear them, but because they show how powerful nature is and why we should respect it. If nothing else, we hope this video makes you curious about these beautiful animals and makes you want to learn more about how they help keep our seas healthy. How do you feel? What do these stories tell you about sharks that you didn't know before? Do they make you want to learn more about sharks and how to protect them? Tell us what you think in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to Info Plus, and share this video with your friends.